Let's bring in MSNBC anchor Lawrence O'Donnell, who's been inside the courtroom all morning. Lawrence, it's always a pleasure to see you. Well, what'd you see?
Well, this morning began in a really unusual way. Yesterday, of course, had that explosive situation where the judge ordered the courtroom cleared. Clear the courtroom are words that most people working in that courthouse have never heard in their lives. That's how rare it is. I asked a retired judge who was actually in the courtroom yesterday observing how many times he had to clear the courtroom in his career, and his answer was, as I expected, zero. I spoke to court officers today who said they have never cleared a courtroom before. They've never had to do it. And so one of the striking things about the way we began today is there was a massive presence of court officers in the room. There are usually 5 to 7 court officers standing around the room as a protective measure for a former president of the United States. You would not have that many in a normal trial that did not include a defendant like this. Today, that show of force by the court officers was at least doubled. Many of the higher-ranking officers were there. They're distinguishable by the white shirts, the sergeants, the captains. It was a stunning sight, and I could only wonder what it meant to the jury, because there's not much that changes in a courtroom. In fact, from day to day, for a jury, nothing changes. The visual picture of what's in front of them never really changes. The only thing that changes is there's a new witness, and that's about it. And here they came into a courtroom that had these court officers posted all over the room in positions they hadn't held before. And so the jury's left to wonder, what was that about? And over the course of the first hour, that presence was reduced, something closer to normal, but it was still a striking thing for that jury to walk into today.
Right.
And in terms of testimony, it really was the defense's chance to the prosecution's chance to cross-examine Robert Costello in a way that he clearly was not ready for. Yesterday, one of his signature lines was, "The email speaks for itself," when he was asked about his emails. Today, what would happen is the prosecutor would read a really bad email for Robert Costello and then just say, "The email speaks for itself, right?" And in this instance, Robert Costello's answer was sometimes, and he would change it up. And one of those emails was Robert Costello writing about Michael Cohen, who he was claiming was his client as a lawyer. Michael Cohen said he was never Robert Costello's client. But Robert Costello, in that email, in writing, calls Michael Cohen an asshole. And this was a very important point to reveal, because Robert Costello's testimony was, "My only interest was Michael Cohen. I was only working on behalf of Michael Cohen," when in fact he has an email in which he says about Michael Cohen, "What should I say to this asshole? He's playing with the most powerful man on the planet." And so the prosecution's point was Costello's interest was in the most powerful man on the planet, and he was there in every moment with Michael Cohen trying to protect Donald Trump.
I'm wondering, Lawrence, if you had a chance to look at the jury during Costello's testimony and whether there was any reaction, if you could see them from your vantage point.
You know, this is as professional a jury as you can get, and it's an odd term to use with amateurs who've never done something before. But I was in the front row of the reporters section, which meant I was 2 rows behind Donald Trump Jr., and there was another row of Trump supporters, official Trump supporters, in that other row. So I had a very, very close view of almost all of the jurors. No one has an unobstructed view of all of the jurors. And you can never read anything from them. You cannot read impatience. You cannot read confusion. They are always attentive in the direction they're supposed to be attentive, sometimes attentive to the questioner if the lawyer is asking a longer question. But most of the time, their heads and their eyes are turned to focus on that witness stand, to take out of that witness stand what they can without ever giving you a clue of how they are processing what they're taking out of that witness stand.